The story of David and Goliath. Long ago, in the days of kings and battles, the armies of Israel and the Philistines stood facing one another across a valley. On one hill stood the warriors of Israel, led by King Saul. On the other hill stood the Philistines, their voices loud, their weapons gleaming in the sun. Between them stretched the valley of Elah, empty and waiting. Out of the Philistine camp came a man whose size made the earth seem small beneath him. His name was Goliath of Gath. He was a giant, over 9 feet tall. His armor alone weighed more than some men could carry. His bronze helmet caught the sunlight. His breastplate of scale armor shone like fire, and his spear was thick like a weaver's beam, tipped with iron so heavy that no ordinary man could lift it with ease. With every step, the ground seemed to tremble. Goliath's voice thundered across the valley. "Why have you come out to line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine, and are you not servants of Saul? Choose a man from among you and let him come down to me. If he can fight with me and kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then you shall serve us." Day after day, for 40 mornings and 40 evenings, he shouted this challenge. His words cut into the hearts of Israel's warriors. No one dared move. Fear gripped them all, even King Saul. Meanwhile, far from the battlefield, a shepherd boy named David tended his father's sheep in Bethlehem. David was the youngest son of Jesse, overlooked by many, but his heart burned with courage and faith. His father sent him with bread and grain to the battlefield to bring supplies to his older brothers who fought in Saul's army, and to see how they fared. When David arrived at the camp, he heard the giant's voice booming through the valley. He saw the soldiers of Israel shrinking back in fear, their courage melting like wax. David's eyes narrowed. "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine," he asked, "that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers scoffed at him. His brothers grew angry and told him to keep quiet, to return to his sheep. But David would not be silenced. He declared that he would fight Goliath. Word of this boldness reached Saul, who summoned the boy. Saul looked at David and shook his head. "You are only a youth. This man has been a warrior since his youth." But David stood firm. "Your servant has killed both lion and bear. When they came against my father's flock, I struck them down. This Philistine will be like one of them, for he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." Saul, seeing the fire in David's eyes, finally agreed. He placed his own armor on David, the bronze helmet, the heavy coat of mail, the king's sword. But David could barely walk in them. He shook his head. "I cannot go with these, for I have not tested them." He laid the armor aside. Instead, David took only his shepherd's staff, his sling, and from the brook he chose 5 smooth stones, slipping them into the pouch of his shepherd's bag. With these, he stepped out onto the battlefield. Goliath saw him coming and laughed, his voice echoing like thunder. "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" he sneered. He cursed David by his gods and roared, "Come to me, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field." But David did not tremble. He lifted his voice and said, "You come to me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. Then all the earth will know that there is a God in Israel, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands." Goliath, enraged, moved forward. His steps shook the ground. David ran quickly to meet him. He reached into his bag, drew out a stone, and placed it in his sling. The sling whirled through the air, faster and faster, until David released it. The stone flew straight and true. It struck Goliath on the forehead, sinking deep into his skull. The giant stopped. His eyes widened. Then, like a great tree falling, Goliath crashed face first to the ground. Silence swept the valley. The Philistines stood frozen, disbelief on their faces. David ran forward, drew Goliath's own massive sword, and with it struck the final blow, cutting off his head. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, fear gripped them and they turned and fled. The men of Israel shouted in triumph and pursued them, scattering the Philistines across the land. That day, a shepherd boy armed with nothing but faith, a sling, and a stone brought down a giant. David proved to all of Israel that victory does not come from sword or spear, but from the Lord. For the battle belongs to him, and through faith, the smallest among us can overcome the mightiest foe.